Susan. Susan asks, I want an uncomplicated, easy to follow marketing strategy that works. Great, yay! Is one available that will walk me through the steps one by one? Yes, there is. If you want to go through them in a little, I'm going to run through the 7 steps for you, but if you want them, Susan, I'm going to go through these a little bit right now, but we've got a 90 or so, 95 page introductory ebook. It costs $27. It goes through this system. You go to makemymarketingwork.com/ebook, or if you want a more comprehensive version with actual, more sort of work exercises that you can do, how you apply going through it. We have a 323 page digital workbook for $47, and that's at makemymarketingwork.com/guide. So that's makemymarketingwork.com/ebook or /guide. Check them both out. But okay, here's the uncomplicated, easy to follow marketing strategy that works. Number 1, know your business. So what I mean by know your business is know why you're in business, know what your goals are, know what your vision is for the business. Do you want to be the biggest, the best, the brightest? Do you want to be known for customer service? Do you want to help 1 million people do you have one product, you want to get it out to 1 million people? Or do you have, an entire product line and you want to work more deeply, more intimately with 100,000 people? You've got to know your goals and your vision. So you've got to know your business. That's key. It's the foundation upon which everything else is built. So think about a mansion built on sand. First rain comes, everything washes away, right? If you don't have very specific goals and a vision in mind, how are you ever going to be able to evaluate any marketing tactic that's going to come your way? Number 2 is to know your market. Who is your customer and what do they want? And when I say who is your customer, I mean very specifically who is your customer, not, men or women or everybody or men in North America. I mean, men in North America, the age 30 to 50 who struggle with their weight and want to get rid of the tire around their waist, the spare tire around their waist. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Who are they? What frustrates them? What fears do they have? What concerns them? What do they dream of for the future? What are their preferences? What are their biases? You don't want to try selling meat to a vegetarian, right? So what are their biases? What are they predetermined on? You've got to know who they are and what they want before you can ever hope to persuade them to buy whatever it is you're selling. Number 3, know your competition. There are 3 kinds of competition. You've got to know what they are. I'm going to tell you, but you've got to know how they affect you. So your primary competition are the people who compete, who offer basically exactly the same kind of service that you offer. So if you're a restaurant, if you're a family restaurant, let's say, it's all the other family restaurants in your city. Those are the primary people, the people who are competing directly with you for that business, right? The secondary kind of competition is everybody who's competing for the same kind of budget dollars. So going out for a meal with your family is entertainment, right? It's an entertainment budget allocation. So your secondary competition is everything else that competes with that same person for entertainment dollars. So that includes going to the movies, that includes going to the show, that includes video games, DVD rentals, anything that's a budget, an entertainment budget allocation for that family, right? That's your secondary competition. Your third level of competition is are the market conditions that are beyond your control. So, an example, a restaurant. What would happen if there was a transit strike and nobody could get to your restaurant, or it was more difficult to get how would that affect your business? If there was as what happened here where I live in Vancouver a couple of years ago, there was a garbage strike. How would that affect a restaurant? How would that affect people wanting to come to the restaurant? Right? First of all, the whole city was stinky, right? But more importantly, The restaurants who are throwing out, food waste all the time, the garbage behind their restaurant is really stinky. So are people going to want to come? Is that hygienic? Or is that going to cause a rat infestation? Those kind of things. What happens if a flood comes in? You get a big rain and you get flooded. 9/11 affected so many businesses. It was something you can't prepare for. But you can prepare contingencies. So those are the three kinds of competition that are out there. But you've got to know how they potentially could affect you and how you differentiate when it comes to the first and secondary kinds of competition. How you're going to differentiate yourself from those types of competition. Okay, number 4. You've got to craft a message that speaks to your customer. Once you know who they are, what their frustrations are, what their fears are, what they dream of for the future, then you've got to speak to them in a way that they understand, in language that they would use. You've got to speak to them in terms of benefits, not features, because again, benefits are about me. When you're trying to sell me something, features are about you. So if you're trying to talk to me in terms of features, you're not going to get anywhere. So you've got to craft a message that speaks to the customers. You've got to try and enter the conversation that's already happening in their head, instead of trying to force a conversation that you want to have. Right? Again, that's about you. You got to make it about me. What's going on in my head? What's going on between the ears? And how can you engage in that conversation? Okay, number 5 is you've got to deliver your message. You've got to reach your target audience. You know who they are. You know what some of their preconceptions and their biases are. You know what their fears and their desires are, and you've crafted a message. Now you've got to deliver that message to them in the right place at the right time. So basically that means where they're already looking, where their conversation is already related to what you're doing. So again, you wouldn't try and sell dog training in a cat magazine, but if you are trying to sell dog training, you might do it in a dog training or in a dog magazine or dog training magazine. So you know that when your audience is reading a dog magazine, their mind, the conversation that's happening in their head is related to dogs. So that's a good time to join the conversation that's happening in their head. So you've got to deliver the message in a place and in a way that makes sense. You've also got to use their language so that you can enter that conversation gracefully. Number 6, you've got to measure your marketing. You've got to know what numbers you need to track, and you've got to be diligent about tracking them. You have to always seek to improve in the critical areas of your marketing results. And those critical areas are the number of leads generated, the conversion from lead to a customer, the dollar value per sale, and the number of sales over the lifetime of your customer. So those are your critical marketing sort of KPIs, key performance indicators. You've got to know what they are, and you've got to always take steps and actions to improve them. So, a slight improvement in each of those areas will have a compounded effect on your actual overall results. And finally, number 7 is funnel your marketing. You want to make it automated as much as possible, and you want to make it very easy for people to go from the process of just first being introduced to the solution that you have to whatever problem it is that they have, to being informed about how your specific problem or your specific solution will solve that problem, and how it's better, more unique, faster, easier, cheaper, better, whatever, than all of the other options out there, and eventually to have them integrate into your business as a customer. So you want to make that system as automated as possible, and that's so much easier now with the advent of obviously online marketing, and so many people are looking for information online. So Susan, that's the uncomplicated, easy to follow marketing strategy that works. I hope you wrote everything down. If not, definitely check out either the ebook or the digital workbook at makemymarketingwork.com/ebook or makemymarketingwork.com/guide. And either of those are great options. One is just a little thinner. It walks you through the system, but there's not as much practical work. The 323-page guide has a lot more detail in terms of actually having you trying stuff out, working through it as you're learning it. Okay, thank you, Susan, for that question. I appreciate it.